Dinner at Doors, that's where the president was last night, at the home of the venture capital maven John Doerr. He was, of course, joined by a very impressive group. Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg, Apple's Steve Jobs, Google's Eric Schmidt, Oracle's Larry Ellison. Mr. Obama is making Silicon Valley and its CEOs his #1 stop in a quest to create jobs. Joining me by phone from San Mateo, California, is Charlene Li. Ms. Li runs Altimeter Group, a research-based technology advisory group. She has also written the book Open Leadership: How Social Technology Can Transform the Way You Lead. Ms. Li, welcome to Bloomberg's Bottom Line. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Does technology really create jobs?
It does in two ways. First, directly from all the funding that they get and the growth that they see, especially in new areas like social media. Twitter is looking into a new headquarters. Palo Alto is losing Facebook over to Menlo Park. So there's a lot of growth directly inside these hot companies that more and more people are using.
Well, during these meetings, I guess yesterday and today, what does the president need to hear from these CEOs in Silicon Valley that is going to give Americans confidence that technology and innovation are on the front burner as this economy starts to move forward?
Well, I think these are the companies who have figured out how to do it. How do they build competitiveness because of their innovation? And that's something that's very unique to the country that the U.S. has. It's built on intellectual capital, on people being very educated and think innovatively outside the box. How do they foster competitive innovation? So he's hoping to learn from some of the best people in the business, the people who are doing this better than anyone else in the world.
And I would guess as an addendum to that, how critical is it that the president listen to these people who are actually on the ground in the forefront of this change?
It's absolutely critical, which is why he went to them instead of having them come to him. It sends the signal that here in Silicon Valley, in Portland, Oregon, are people who know how to do it. They're the ones with the answers. And he better study very carefully at their knee in order to make sure that America can become competitive.
What do they need to hear from him?
They need to know what are the things that the government is going to do to help that innovation happen, in particular on education. The need to have more educated people who think creatively around technology, one area, but also around business, around leadership in particular. We have not invested in our education.
But Ms. Li, you know the corollary to this is that you have some on Capitol Hill who say that's all well and good, but right now the country's broke, and the president counters, that may well be good, may be all well and good as well, but we do need to invest in our future. How do you find that balance?
It's always a balance, but I think if you look at the investment it costs to send somebody, to give them a loan that they eventually repay, this is a matter of funding and an investment into growth. So I look at one of the best investments you can make are in the people who are going to build in very, very short order, in a matter of a year or two, that investment rather than, again, building more roads and things that aren't necessarily going to make us more productive and give us that step ahead.
Is this meeting between the president and some of these leaders, is this the administration's acknowledgement that they will be key to moving this nation ahead going forward?
It's one of the stepping stones. It's not the only one, though. In the same way that technology is the foundation for many of the things that we do, it's not the only thing. Again, competitiveness comes from many different places, but technology is one of the places where it defies borders, defies education, defies funding. Great ideas, competitiveness start at the very beginning from that core idea, from somebody just having that spark of an idea of something to start.
Might I ask in our last minute then, do you think enough Americans truly understand how critical it is that the United States continue to be a leader in technology and innovation going forward and not fall behind other countries in the world? And by that, I also mean that we must have an educated populace.
I don't think people do. I think the fact is that...
Why do you suppose that is?
I think because so many times we take it for granted. We are resting on our laurels in the past. Of course we're the best. We have all these technology leaders. They're sitting at the table. But I look at all the innovation that's happening outside of the world, and we've got to invest. Because if we don't, if we make only the place where innovation happens only in Silicon Valley and don't take that knowledge, that skill, and spread it across the rest of the country, we can't win.
Ms. Li, may I ask you then quickly in about 15 seconds, does the private sector understand that it has a responsibility too? If taxpayer money is not available, that the private sector has to step up?
the private sector understands it's in our best interest to invest, because that's the only way we can succeed.
All right, Charlene Li, founding partner, Altimeter Group, and author of Open Leadership, How Social Technology Can Transform the Way You Lead, joining us on the phone. Ms. Li, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.